You are listening to the JP Show.
where we discuss the issues you care about from a Jewish perspective.
I am Rabbi G.
And I am Rabbi Levi.
And we hope you enjoy this episode. So everyone, welcome to another JP Show. Rabbi Levi, I don't know about you, but it seems we just had Lag BaOmer and next week is already Shavuot.
All happening.
Time is marching on.
Absolutely.
But thank God, it's busy. That's really good. Your week being good?
Yeah, it's been all right. Last week I wasn't feeling so well, which happens, but thank God we're back full force.
Feeling stronger, ready to roll?
Absolutely.
I did a very interesting thing this past Friday night. As part of our Kayemet program, we had like 20 young adults at my house. And we did not a regular Friday night meal where, we had fun and schmooze. We did actually experiential. We went every part of the Shabbat meal. We explained what the significance is, the mystical reasons, like reading the angels, kiddush, salt, halas, two halas, why, gefilte fish, l'chaim, everything had an explanation. And it was a really good experiment. Was
it well received?
I think so. I mean, so I'm told, unless they're all lying.
That's an interesting topic, actually. We should do it once, about feedback.
Yeah, feedback. Okay, we'll leave it for another topic. I have to think about that one. I like that. All right, so what's this week's topic?
So today we're going to talk about time management. So people who know us think that we manage our time very well, but actually I'm going to say today that I'm going to sort of spill a secret here. It's actually not so accurate. So BINA has a name for always running on time. It's something we pride ourselves in. Everyone knows you come to a BINA program, you better be there on time, otherwise you're going to miss it. So we are very punctual, but I don't know if we manage our time properly, because actually we're never late, but sometimes we're very early, which I don't know if that's a good management of time either. Like if you have a flight at 11 o'clock in the morning and you arrive at the airport at 7, that's not really using your time wisely, is it?
Well, it depends what you do at the airport, you see.
It's also true.
I'm just defending my shtick,
I understand. What do you think? Is time management have to do with coming on early, late?
I think what you're referring to is managing time without anxiety. Like that's
right.
So people don't know if we manage that well or not.
No,
but time management is a great topic to be talking about today. Especially that time management, I think, has many, many components to it. So, but first of all, it's a great topic to be discussing because we are coming towards the end of the Omer. We have this really, actually quite strange mitzvah where we take 49 days and we count them.
Right.
Like we're not eating anything for once, which is interesting. We're not praying, we're not doing anything, we're not putting up a mezuzah, lighting a candle, we're just counting days. Right? From the second day of Pesach, the Torah tells us we need to count. In the temple times, there was a special sacrifice, and then we just count 49 days till the end. And then the 50th day, which we don't count, is the festival of Shavuot.
Right.
So I think one of the lessons we learn from the Omer counting is to value each day, which I think, and to value time.
Yeah. They say time is one of the only things you can't get back.
Right.
Like if you waste a minute, it's gone.
Yeah, we were taught in yeshiva, that's why it's very bad to steal time from other people. Like, you got to respect other people's time because you can't really give it back. If you waste someone's time for nothing, if you steal an object from someone, you can give it back, right? But if you steal time from someone, you can't give it back. So that's why it's strict. It's very severe.
Which is, by the way, why we're very careful to start things on time.
It's a value. It's a value, but punctuality can also be, like everything. Sometimes over punctuality can also be a rigidity, which is another topic. But we'll leave that for now. But let's go back to time management. So I like to think of time management as, well, how do you define time management, right? So, there's so many modern day books written on time management. There's courses on time management. Time management, of course, increases productivity, increases, the use of your time, and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a deeper side to, and by the way, all that is very good. I've taken courses on time management. They're very, very good. One of the best ones that I liked was one of the 7 habits of Stephen Covey, of the 7 habits of effective people. Has great time management techniques and strategies, and I've been to a number of seminars, and they've been very, very helpful. And I'm I try to continuously improve my time management, because there's a lot you can get done in a day if you don't waste time, which is all true. But I think there's something else to time management, that is what I call time management with values. First of all, before we go on, how well do you manage your time? How would you rate your time management?
Not that great, actually. I think I have a lot to work on it.
Like all of us. Maybe we should make a BINA course or something. We should get someone to.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, so we can then maybe even add more shiurim or something. I don't know. Anyway, but get back to time management with values. So I think, first of all, there's a concept of time management in order to make sure that every day has purpose. That's one level of, right? So it's not just about being organized and getting a lot done in one day, because getting a lot done can be anything, but it's about filling each day with purpose. And I think that's one of the lessons of the Omer, filling each day with purpose. So I've written about this before, but I'll say it again because I heard this from my grandfather. And he said that back in Poland, there were 2 types of calendars. There was a desk calendar, you have I still have them around today, where you have papers, each page, each day has a page, and then you rip it out at the end of the day. Or you used to have what's a wall calendar, which was like we have today, like every calendar has a square. And at the end of the day, you tick the square, right?
Those don't have a BINA calendar, by the way. It's a beautiful calendar.
That's it. And that's every month has squares, yeah. So if you want to know where you're up to in the calendar, you can tick off each day. You can tick off each square as you finish a day. And he said that they used to say the following, that what the difference between the 2 calendars is like this, that the desk calendar, at the end of the day, you crumple up the page, you throw it away, and the day's gone. But a wall calendar, at the end of the day, you tick the day, and he used to say in Yiddish, der Tag bleibt, the day remains, right? And he said that's one of the, in fact, he said it when he was in Australia once, when he visited for your older brother's bris. And he stayed here for Pesach, and he's talked one day in shul, he talked about the Omer. And he said, this is the lesson. The lesson is that every day must be counted for. Every day is eternal. The day has to remain, which means that at the end of the day, not just that we managed it well in terms of productivity and all that, because that can be a very almost self-centered thing, how can I make more money? So I manage my day really well and I sold more things. But it's more than that. It's about managing our time with priorities. It's about managing our time with things that are important, that we manage to make sure they become front and center of our life. And when we live our life with values and each day becomes a purposeful experience, what we accomplish in terms of purpose is eternal and it remains forever. So that's one aspect of time management. I say time management with the values, right? In Stephen Covey's model, actually, he talks a lot about that, about learning to plan and learning to put into our schedule the things that are really important to us, right? And that could be family, it could be spending time with children, it could be spending time learning Torah, doing mitzvot, helping other people, and so on and so forth, and making sure to put them in. Now, there's many techniques and various strategies of how we do this. Of course, this is not, I think the purpose was to have a discussion about time management and not about techniques and strategy. There's plenty out there, we don't need me. But I'll just share with you something else, and then maybe you can elaborate. I learned something very important about time management at one stage of my life, many years ago. And I'll share a personal story, which I'm not particularly proud of, but I'll share it anyways for the lesson. There was once a time that I was really working on my time management, and I was trying to be organized, and every day had a I had a schedule, and I was trying even to slotting the priorities and everything like that. And I was working well for a couple of days. And one day I was driving home, and I was on schedule, and I was very proud of myself. And there was no parking on my street, no parking whatsoever. And I went round and round and round a few times. And of course, by now I was getting late, and my time schedule was getting dismantled, and I was getting upset and anxious. And then I turned the corner, and next to my house, around the corner, there's a panel beater who, at the beginning of the day, patches a lot of the parking spots, which is now changed, by the way, because they've got 2-hour parking now on my street. But anyways, and for the 10th time, I'm coming around, turning to my street, and this is the guy pulling in one of his cars that he's fixing, and he pulls in and he cups a parking spot that I really wanted.
Mm.
And by that time, I was really anxious. I rolled down the window and I let him have it, which I'm not proud of. It wasn't one of my finest moments. And I thought about it later, and I thought to myself, where did that come from, right? And I came from, I think, another aspect of time management with values. Like, am I doing time management just because I want to be organized, or I want to live a day with purpose? If you're doing it with time management with values, you also have to be ready to be flexible. In other words, know that your schedule could change and your purpose might change. And maybe my purpose for that day was not to make the appointment or not to accomplish in that hour what I was supposed to accomplish, but rather to be nice to the person and to stay calm. Maybe that was my purpose. Because time management with values also, from a Jewish perspective, means everything happens b'hashgacha pratit, everything happens by divine providence, nothing happens by chance. And you have to be able to regroup. Sometimes not every day works according to plan. Sometimes Hashem has other plans for us and things unravel. And then if you're very good at time management and your day is very scheduled, and then you're rigid, so then you lose it. But if you realize, no, like it was always all about packing into the day purpose and meaning. In which case, if things unravel and turn out differently, I've got to be able to stop, recalibrate, and maybe redo the plan for that day.
Right, which is really it's about using out the situation for what you can use it out for. So it's for the best possible purpose, really. It's not about achieving a specific goal. I mean, obviously, a person has to have goals. You can't live aimlessly, but it's about the ultimate goal is serving God and living out your purpose. So, you do that by using it. I think part of that is also, I think many people struggle with this, including me. Part of that is also using out situations where most people waste. Like, I remember there's a famous story, I can't remember what it was about. There was a famous rabbi who said he finished the entire Talmud waiting for a bus. Or he said something like he finished the entire Talmud in a few minutes.
Right.
Which is obviously, tens of volumes, and no one can finish the Talmud in a few minutes. And he explained that basically what he meant was that every time he was waiting for the bus, he had 3 minutes, he took out a Talmud and he learned, right? So there's a lot of those 3 minutes in our days, waiting for the doctor or waiting the barber or whatever it is, where most people just tend to look at your phone, space out, whatever it is. I think part of living life with purpose is using out every situation. I think for me, it's also like some Fridays. Like even like a long summer Friday, it's just like, it's almost like Friday is not really a day. It's like because Shabbos is coming and you have to get ready for Shabbos. And it's like, what do you mean? You have an hour on Friday, use it out, do something productive.
So it's so funny you say that, because I think something we both have to work on or are working on is exactly this. It's actually what you're really talking about, I think, is learning to be present and fully in the moment, right?
Correct.
Which is very much linked to time management. So like, for example, I know that if we have an event, right, which we've planned for and we get a little bit anxious before, obviously it's going to start on time. Problem is that like an hour and a half before, the chances are me and you will waste that hour and a half because the truth is everything's set up and it's done, right? And now we can do something else. I mean, it's hard and it's hard to master. I mean, there's a famous story that Rabbi G told about his father-in-law.
Just about to bring it up. Yeah, we may have said it before, but say it again.
You say it.
No. I was going to ask you to say it.
So I think the story was that he had to go to Moscow or something for something very urgent for the Jewish community, where a lot was at stake, and it was so important that he made the train on time. And like a half an hour before, the Rebbe said he walked into his father-in-law's office, and he saw him studying something, completely immersed in what he was doing, completely present, as if there's no trip, there's no train, there's no nothing, just completely there. And he turned to him and he said, "Wow, like to that extent, like it's because so much was hanging on that meeting." And the previous Rebbe said to him, he said, "That's the concept of what they call in Hebrew hatzlacha bizman, success with time, which is the old way of saying time management, good time management." He said, very much part of it is being completely where you're supposed to be, fully there. When that comes to an end, you stop and you go to the next thing. So it wasn't time for the train yet. So yes, he was very mindful of the fact that he had to be on time for the train. But right now, there was time to be used and he could use it. And he brought an example from one of these sages in, I think, the 12th century, something like that, the Rashba, as he was known, that he was a he was a great Talmudist. He wrote extensively in terms of
doctor as well.
He was also a doctor, I think, and he had, usually busy, and he still found time every single day to go for a walk for half an hour for his own health. Right? I think when we frazzled and we're running from one thing to another and we're thinking about one thing and we're doing something else, we even if we're very punctual, but that's not a great use of time. In order to use, like you said, those extra 5 minutes, those extra the Friday afternoon hour before Shabbat, whatever the case is, that's about, and it might be you choose to use it to relax. That's also fine. It's about not being aimless about it, right? I don't want people to think that we're talking about never taking a rest. Taking a rest is part of health. It's okay, but it's not like I'm not taking a rest, but I'm not doing anything either. Like that's like no man's land.
It's back and forth. Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Right. So yeah, so it's very much linked to being completely present.
So we mentioned before that time can never be made back. So that's a little bit of a depressing thought. Can we fix up if we missed out something? Let's say I wasted 20 years. I'd say I didn't use the first 20 years of my life properly. I mean, I'm actually 32, so just put it that way, right? Does that mean, is it truly lost? Can you never actually make it up?
So I guess the answer is yes and no. Like we are always told to use our time well because it's hard to make back, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, we have in Judaism, again, if we're talking about time management with purpose, so it's very hard to reverse outcomes, reverse productivity. If I didn't make money last week, I didn't make money. If I make money this week, it's this week's money, right? In terms of serving our purpose, so we have this fascinating concept in Judaism called tshuva. Repentance, returning, like reconnecting. And one of the fascinating, it's a very, it's a huge topic on its own, maybe to be discussed closer to Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, which is the season of tshuva. But part of the tshuva process, we are taught, is if you really return and reconnect and repair, you can reverse the past. More of a spiritual thing. But
part of it is also using the past to teach you about the future, in which case
correct.
The past is no longer a waste.
Correct. So that's on a very, very basic level, correct. So if the past becomes your teacher and you become stronger in the future because of the past, that is correct. So then you've used the past, so it's no longer empty. But also this idea of like it's tshuva's transcendent, it's higher than time. And you kind of elevate the past that way as well. And it becomes as if it was used out. And yes, so that shouldn't be our default position. Our default position is to value each day for what it is, to really value it properly. But at the same time, we can always fix.
Okay.
We both heard a very beautiful video the other day. We'll just maybe say this, that there's a Hasidic rabbi in who's become very popular and he's traveling around the world and encouraging people. And he lives in Israel, but he was recently in America. And he had a great gathering. There was a video of it. And he said just a nice phrase, because he actually doesn't speak English that well, but he knows certain phrases. So he said, in America, they say time is money. He said, Ich sag, I tell you, time is life. Time is not money, time is life. Value each day. Use each day out for life, real life, connection, values, purpose, connection with God, and so on.
Yeah. Very good. So this is actually probably the last JP show before Shavuot. Shavuot, for those that don't know, is the night of the 11th of June, the 12th and the 13th of June, those 2 days, next week. And talking about valuing time, I know you're very into this. This is a festival which some people sort of miss for some reason. But it's actually the most, if one can say, the most fundamental festival of all. It's what everything's based on.
Correct.
Right? We got the Torah. It's
a sign
our whole life is based on this day.
Correct. That's where we became a nation. That's where we were chosen by God, so to speak, to really serve Him with purpose and to illuminate the world and to be focused and so on. But to tie it into what we just spoke about, in fact, the time of the Omer is a time of preparation. This idea of working on valuing each day, working on our time management and from a value perspective is really a preparation for Shavuot. It's because every Shavuot we are told that we re-receive the Torah once again. We recommit to the pursuit of learning and wisdom, which is a good plug for BINA while we're about it, and also just recommit to our whole purpose, right? But part of that is learning to value the time that we are given in order to live with purpose, live with meaning. So yeah, so it's really connected, and Shavuot is next, as you said, next Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, it starts Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Can I just mention two things? First, it's really important. Those are at Shabbat candles. Those women light Shabbat candles every Friday night. Important to do it on Shavuot as well. The way it's done is on Tuesday. Do it be the normal candle lighting time, which
in Sydney is at 4:35, but depends where you live. You can check that out.
Yeah, and the next night, the second night of the Chag, to do it after it's dark. What's the time there? Do you have it?
5:34 in Sydney. So it's
After 5:34.
That's on the 12th.
The light from an existing flame. But another very important thing, you know, everyone will celebrate it the way they celebrate it, but really important if you can, on Wednesday morning to go to shul and to hear the 10 Commandments. That's when we hear the 10 Commandments. And the Medrash tells us that's like we are at Sinai doing it all over again. So try and make it there.
There's a lot of shuls in Sydney and different times also. There are some people that are praying very early in the morning because people have a custom to stay up a whole night. You can join a sunrise minyan if that works better for you, or go to a later minyan. But yeah, definitely. Let's experience Shavuot. And don't forget to eat cheesecake. It's also very
important. But one of the festival without some food, right?
That's right.
So we eat milk foods. That's a tradition. Many reasons given for it, but we eat milk foods, and so try and connect to the festival and just enjoy.
Excellent. So Chag Sameach, everyone.
So one of a post next week. So Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, and we'll see you after Shavuot.
All the best, everyone.